Greetings, YouTube. Recently, a commenter, one Mr. Carcerus, I think that the person's name is, I'm assuming it's a him, asked about what modern gods would I consider to be appropriate to the modern age, as in if I was going to create a new pantheon, which would the appropriate gods be? And so I started playing with that idea, and, you know, for example, Einstein could be the god of physics and learning. Alan Turing could be the god of computation. Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix could be the god and goddess of rock and roll. But as I began to think about this, I realized that creating a new form of orthodoxy, even one in play for purely humor's sake, really isn't going to help the situation at hand that I think that we in the modern era are undergoing. And to understand what that situation is, I have to explain to you that I firmly believe that every single human being is born a theist. That you are born connected to the divine and the spiritual. You come out of the chute and you're set for life. And it takes organized religion, orthodoxy, to break that connection between ourselves and the divine and the spiritual. That organized religion is all about making sure that your connection to the divine is controlled by someone else, if it still exists at all. That organized religion's purpose is not to make sure that your connection with the divine is solid and functioning, but to make sure that you are under the control of another person, which is one of the main reasons I'm opposed to organized religion. And I feel that some of the people who figured this out, that organized religion is all about separating us from the divine, many of them get turned off by religion completely and end up becoming atheists, which I can understand. I've been one. But if you move past that, beyond it, and come to the realization that if you find your own connection with the divine and the spiritual, that if you move past the orthodoxy, the organized religion, and everything else, that you personally can have a connection to the divine and the spiritual. And frankly, that scares the living crap out of the people in charge of organized religions. Because they don't want you to have a personal connection to the spiritual and the divine. They can't control that. If we had 7 billion individuals with spiritual and divine connections, organized religion would have no power, would have no ability to amass huge amounts of wealth and then squander it. And that's what they want to do. They want to make sure that they are dictating how other people live their lives because they're power mad. I firmly believe this. And some people, of course, are raised by atheists, and I feel that the previous generation was convinced that organized religion, orthodoxy, was horrible and they needed to move away from it. And you are correct. You needed to move away from it. But I feel that atheists moved in the wrong direction. Instead of trying to find a genuine, sincere connection, they move completely away. But they can move back. You can always start a connection with the spiritual and the divine. There is no time limit. There are no conditions. You will seek for yourself the path that is best for you. And some might worship Einstein, Turing, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Some will find new gods. Some will find old ones. Some gods will have names and some won't. My goddess doesn't have a name, but my god Ta does. And every single person can find their own path. Sometimes you'll borrow traditions from others, and it isn't a form of disrespect. It's that, why reinvent a tool? Because traditions and rituals are just that, tools. And I'm not going to create everything from start. I use a pentacle. For a holy symbol, I use an ankh, because they resonate for me and with me. But of course, we're not really sure how old the pentacle is. It's one of those symbols that's so old that nobody knows how old it is. And the ankh, well, the ankh's Egyptian and, goes back sometime in the last 5,000 or 6,000 years, probably. But creating a new orthodoxy, even when in jest, isn't going to help anybody. Finding a personal connection to the spiritual and divine will, however. And whether you're a theist stuck in an organized religion, or you're an atheist who's moved completely away from all of it. You can always find that path for yourself. It is possible. You can do it. I hope someday that you join me, because things are a whole lot more pleasant on this side.